Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Soul Land 2 Peerless Tang Men based on novel. So let's start. After this, things were much easier. He used his instant teleportation and sent the real Eye of the Azura behind Feng Ling. Following this came his second strike of spiritual shock. If Huo Yuhao had really wanted to, he could have really hurt Feng Ling by tapping into the strength of his spiritual reaving earlier. After that, he could even kill her. However, he didn't do so. Instead, he sealed Feng Ling's senses and spiritual sea before capturing her. He slowly landed on the ground. There was a strange glow in his eyes. After 2 consecutive fights, it seemed like he had won very easily. In fact, only he himself knew that he had to react very quickly during these 2 fights. He had to rely on his strengths to win these 2 fights easily. From the start until the end, Huo Yuhao didn't conserve his strength at all. This was because he knew that the more he didn't want to unleash his soul power, the more he would be drained. He still had more fights after this. The recovery speed of his twin soul cores and the amount of soul power he had was unimaginable. However, even so, he couldn't possibly last 10 rounds. This was why he didn't kill Feng Ling. Instead, he grabbed her and gave himself some time to recover. Also, as he landed on the ground, Huo Yuhao lifted his visor. He grabbed Feng Ling with one hand and had no intention of relaxing at all. Zhong Li stood where he was and didn't move. Feng Ling was already in Huo Yuhao's hand. Even if an ultimate Doluo were here, he couldn't possibly save her from his hands. Once Huo Yuhao unleashed his dark golden terror claws, he could tear Feng Ling's neck apart in an instant. "What do you want?" Zhong Li asked coldly. They were clever people. He wouldn't demand that Huo Yuhao release Feng Ling. Since Huo Yuhao didn't kill her, it meant that there was room for negotiation. He had to have some kind of agenda. To Zhong Li, Feng Ling was very important. Not only was she his right-hand man, but she was also his wife. Evil soul masters weren't devoid of emotions. This was even though Zhong Li didn't control Feng Ling using emotions. "I want to exchange her for your other holy lady. I'll leave it up to you to decide whether a holy lady or your vice-sect leader is more important." Huo Yuhao revealed his demands simply. Yes, he had been waiting for this moment for a long time. He couldn't find where the Holy Ghost Church's headquarters was. This was why he couldn't find Ma Xiaodao at all. Not long ago, Huo Yuhao attempted to use his spiritual detection to search for her before when they first entered Radiant City. However, he didn't find any trace of her. Since he couldn't find her, he could only turn to the Holy Ghost Church. After hearing Huo Yuhao's demand, Zhong Li focused his gaze. "Keep daydreaming." When he had first captured the 2 holy ladies, he had used the Holy Ghost Church's methods to stimulate them and rapidly increase their cultivations. After that, the blue-silver holy lady Tang Ya was captured by Huo Yuhao and the others. This left them with only the Fire Phoenix holy lady, Ma Xiaodao. Zhong Li had high hopes for Ma Xiaodao. She was close to becoming a transcendent Doluo. Furthermore, she had an ultimate martial soul. The evil energy of her ultimate martial soul became fuel for her ultimate fire under the stimulation of the Holy Ghost Church's special methods. Her abilities had grown significantly over the past few years. She was bound to become a pillar of the Holy Ghost Church in the future. In Zhong Li's plan, Ma Xiaodao could become an ultimate Doluo in a decade's time. Once she succeeded, she would completely lose her own awareness and become a puppet who was an ultimate Doluo. Then, even though both Yi Shishui and Long Xiaoyao would eventually pass away, the Holy Ghost Church would still remain strong. This was why Zhong Li immediately rejected Huo Yuhao's demand the moment he mentioned Ma Xiaodao. He had feelings for Feng Ling. However, his feelings weren't important compared to the future of the Holy Ghost Church. This was the Holy Ghost Church's motto: profit was the most important. "Are you saying that you don't want her life anymore?" Huo Yuhao lifted Feng Ling high. A sharp, dark gold blade shot out from his index finger, shining brightly. The tip of it came extremely close to Feng Ling's throat. "Stop!" Zhong Li shouted furiously. He was conflicted. He couldn't bear to watch Feng Ling die. It was his first time regretting this mission. If he hadn't personally requested to fight this battle, Wu Yun wouldn't have died, and Feng Ling wouldn't have fallen into Huo Yuhao's hands. While the vampire Ice Bear King was precious, he was still not worth it compared to two transcendent Doluo. Zhong Li subconsciously clenched his fists. Huo Yuhao said, "Sect leader, you can take some time to consider. I'm not in a rush either. I have 10 rounds to fight. I can't wait to get some rest." He pointed out his weakness, and even did it with a grin on his face. He wasn't afraid that Zhong Li wouldn't buy his words. Zhong Li's breathing became a little heavy. He was very aware that the generals of the Sun Moon Empire army were all looking at him from afar. He had already given a military order. If he failed, his reputation in the army would fall dramatically, even if he wasn't dealt with according to military laws. He was now caught in a bind. What should he do? All sorts of ideas rose in his mind. He really didn't know what to do right now. He couldn't bear to give Feng Ling up. However, he was even more unwilling to sacrifice the Fire Phoenix Holy Lady. Zhong Li's expression turned grim as he took in a deep breath. "I can't pass the Fire Phoenix Holy Lady to you. She's already one of the pillars of the church. Even as the sect leader, I have no right to exchange her for little Feng. If you are willing, I can make her fight you next. You can use your own abilities to snatch her away. If you can do that, I'll have nothing to say. However, I can't directly pass her to you. It's a promise." Huo Yuhao answered without any hesitation. A cold light flashed across Zhong Li's face. He waved towards the back. A terrifying aura swept over immediately. The cries of a phoenix sounded following this. It was different from the cries of Feng Ling's phoenix. Feng Ling's phoenix cries were sharp and shrill, whereas this phoenix cry was filled with dominance. It was extremely domineering. It rocked heaven and earth. A mighty aura exploded into the air. Scorching air currents surged. One person slowly walked out from the Sun Moon Empire crowd. She wasn't very quick, but every step she took left a fiery red footprint on the ground. Fiery red light shone from her without dissipating at all. She was wearing a red hat with a veil that covered her entire head. That mighty yet scorching aura exuded from her body. Huo Yuhao focused his gaze and stared at her. "Is that you, elder sister?" It was unknown what that red hat was made of. It didn't appear to be damaged even, as it was subjected to the scorching air currents. Zhong Li turned around and walked towards a bunch of soul engineers. He gritted his teeth before grabbing another Class 9 spiritual defensive type soul tool. This time, it was a bracelet. He returned in front of that person in red. The person in red lifted her left hand. Her palms were milky white, but there were red air currents coming from them. Intense soul power undulations originated from her body, which couldn't be suppressed at all. Her scorching aura made her seem like a volcano that could erupt at any time. Zhong Li gave her the bracelet. After this, he turned to Huo Yuhao and said, "She's here. You can let go of Feng Ling now." Huo Yuhao coldly replied, "How do I know if she's the one? Ask her to lift her veil and reveal her true appearance." Zhong Li nodded and gestured at the lady. The lady lifted her veil. When she revealed her appearance, Huo Yuhao's pupils shrank. All these years, he had done his best to find Ma Xiaodao. However, he couldn't find her. Now that he saw her, his heart sank. Ma Xiaodao was still Ma Xiaodao. Her appearance had not changed at all. Time also didn't leave any marks on her beautiful face. However, her eyes had changed. Her eyes had turned completely red. Whether it was the black or white part of her eyes, everything had turned red. It was even a deep red. It was as if blood could seep out of her eyes at any time. When she lifted her head and looked at Huo Yuhao, there was only a strong killing intent and terrifying evil energy coming from her eyes. "Sister Xiaodao." Huo Yuhao's heart was shuddering. Sister Xiaodao, I was the one who harmed you. For various reasons, I couldn't leave with you when we first met. After that, we were attacked by the Holy Ghost Church's third and fourth elder, which caused Chioa to sacrifice herself. After Chioa sacrificed herself, Shrek Academy was struck by the beast wave. I had no choice but to return to Shrek. When I returned, I could no longer find any traces of you. When Huo Yuhao saw her years later, today, he could clearly sense that she had lost a part of her soul. She had become a killing machine controlled by the Holy Ghost Church. Huo Yuhao's killing intent grew instantly. Holy Ghost Church, Holy Ghost Church. An ice-cold look flashed across his face. He stared at Zhong Li. A cold smile appeared on Zhong Li's face. He turned to Ma Xiaodao and said, "Kill him." There were so many people around. Huo Yuhao couldn't renege on his words. Huo Yuhao shook his right hand before he flung Feng Ling towards Zhong Li. At the same time, Ma Xiaodao was already like a ball of intense flame as she charged towards him. The air immediately distorted due to the heat. Ma Xiaodao seemed to have gone crazy. She opened her arms wide and shot a phoenix-shaped, dark red flame towards Huo Yuhao. She immediately used her fourth soul skill, Phoenix Sky Whistle. Ma Xiaodao's phoenix flames were much stronger now compared to before. Her ultimate fire was mixed with some kind of terrifying energy that Huo Yuhao couldn't even recognize. The flame was aimed straight at him. Ma Xiaodao's 9 soul rings instantly rose at the same time. Apart from the soul rings that Huo Yuhao was familiar with him, there was an extra blood-red 9th soul ring on her body. The Holy Ghost Church had gone all out to nurture her. They even gave her a 100,000-year soul ring. Huo Yuhao opened his arms, and a beam of jade blue light shot out from his backbone. It was his Ice Empress wrath. Red and jade blue clashed in the air. It was a confrontation between ultimate ice and ultimate fire. A deafening sound echoed, as if hot oil had been spilled onto ice and snow. A huge amount of fog rose instantly. Ma Xiaodao's fire phoenix disappeared. The last shockwave from Ice Empress wrath hit her, and caused her to shudder. In terms of cultivation, she was no longer as strong as Huo Yuhao. She wasn't as strong as that fellow she had almost killed in a manic rage back at the lakeside of the Sea God's Lake. Her body turned cold, and Ma Xiaodao went into a bit of a daze. However, the aura of ultimate ice was quickly expelled by the phoenix flames in her body. Ultimate ice and ultimate fire were two extreme strengths. Since time immemorial, they suppressed each other. As for which way it went, it depended on the cultivation of their owners. Her huge phoenix wings opened behind her back. She used her third soul skill, Soaring Phoenix. As her Soaring Phoenix grew stronger and stronger, Ma Xiaodao's stature kept growing. Phoenix flames reached towards Huo Yuhao. He couldn't fight her on land. Huo Yuhao pointed his toes to the ground, as if he were about to shot into the sky. However, Ma Xiaodao was only filled with boundless killing intent and the innate desire to fight. Why would she be bothered where they were? Earlier, Feng Ling was already not in a very good mental state. However, she was already much better compared to Ma Xiaodao. Ma Xiaodao was like a killing machine now. As she opened her mouth, she spat out a beam of dark red fire towards Huo Yuhao. It was her first soul skill, Phoenix Fire Line, which was enhanced by her Soaring Phoenix. Not only this, but her entire body also started to smoke with burning flames. Her entire body released an indescribable yet immense aura. Then, she unleashed her second soul skill, Phoenix Baptism. Huo Yuhao had already beaten 2 evil soul masters. In terms of soul power cultivation, both Feng Ling and Wu Yun were above Ma Xiaodao. However, Huo Yuhao felt more strained when he fought Ma Xiaodao. The reason was very simple. Ma Xiaodao was in a manic state right now. Furthermore, her ultimate fire didn't fear Huo Yuhao's ultimate ice. Furthermore, Huo Yuhao didn't dare to go heavy on her. Given these restraints, Huo Yuhao was unable to fully unleash his abilities. Naturally, he was under some pressure. Huo Yuhao took in a deep breath. He lifted his right hand and grabbed towards the phoenix fire line. A layer of diamond ice crystals surfaced on Huo Yuhao's icy war god's armor. Ultimate ice and divine ice crystals, which were used to build the icy war god's armor, were complementary. In terms of cultivation, Huo Yuhao was far superior to Ma Xiaodao, as he was enhanced by his icy war god's armor. Ice Empress Pincer. The phoenix fire line was blocked, but Huo Yuhao was also astonished to find out that the diamond ice crystals on his Ice Empress pincer were about to melt under the attack of Ma Xiaotao's phoenix skyline. This was unthinkable. There was a huge gap between their cultivations. Why was Ma Xiaotao's phoenix fire line so strong? Just as Huo Yuhao was astonished, Ma Xiaodao had already turned into a fire phoenix and flew towards him. She was still using her phoenix sky whistle. The only difference was that her second and third soul skills, the phoenix baptism and soaring phoenix, enhanced her phoenix sky whistle this time. It was even stronger than before. Huo Yuhao squinted. An icy blue halo spread from his body. Star Anise Ice Origin. It was a soul skill that originated from the star anise mysterious ice grass. In fact, Huo Yuhao wasn't in his best state right now. This was because his 6 spirits were all in deep sleep. He was affected without his spirits. He could only use the powers that belonged to his spirits. There were even some special abilities he couldn't use. For example, he couldn't use the complete version of the Pride of the Ice and Snow Empresses when both the Ice and Snow Empress were asleep. At the same time, he couldn't use his ultimate Ice True Body too. The Ice Empress was asleep. If he used the Ice Empress True Body, he couldn't possibly unleash its essence. This was not to even mention that the ultimate Ice True Body also depended on tapping into the Snow Empress strength. However, even so, Huo Yuhao was still considered one of the strongest in the world of soul masters, because of his ultimate martial soul. Under the effect of the star Anise icy origin, his icy war god's armor dazzled. He punched out a fist. It was just his fist, he didn't use any soul skills. However, at this instant, Huo Yuhao seemed to have fused with heaven and earth. Ma Xiaodao, who was against him, seemed to be subjected to the wrath of heaven and earth. Cluck! Ma Xiaotao's phoenix fire line was forcefully crushed, and she was thrown back. Her entire body seemed to be covered by a layer of diamond ice crystals. Even her Class 9 defensive type soul tool on her wrist shone brightly. Evidently, it was taking effect. It was helping her resist Huo Yuhao's spiritual power. Zhong Li had only just dispelled the ultimate ice soul power in Feng Ling's body right now. When he saw this scene, his expression changed completely. That fist contained the principles of heaven and earth. He got the same feeling from his mother's body. However, it wasn't as intense. He also sensed that from Long Xiaoyao's body, which was a little stronger than his mother. Di Qian was the one who left him the deepest impression when it came to this feeling. It was just that Di Qian was a soul beast, and didn't seem to be able to completely fuse with heaven and earth. However, Huo Yuhao appeared to have originated from heaven and earth when he unleashed his fist earlier. He didn't use a lot of his soul power, but Ma Xiaodao was greatly disadvantaged. Huo Yuhao didn't try to call out to Ma Xiaodao at this moment. This was because he was clearly aware that she was greatly poisoned. She wouldn't respond so easily. He needed to save her first before he had a chance to neutralize the toxins and wake her up. The first thing he had to do before he could save her was defeat her. Lights flashed, and Huo Yuhao revealed a determined and serious look on his face. He forced Ma Xiaodao back with one fist, and felt the undulations coming from the 2 soul cores in his body becoming a little more intense. The slight collision between his soul cores generated a whirlpool of soul power that seemed to strengthen the impact of his fist. Heaven was yang, and earth was yin. Yin and yang complemented each other according to the principles of heaven and earth. Yes, this was the origin of his fist earlier. It was a perfect combination of his spiritual and ultimate ice soul power. If there was something lacking, it could only be emotions. Yes, it was emotions. If it was before he met the god of emotions Nian Rongbing, Huo Yuhao would perhaps not know why his 3 ultimate Haodong skills were so strong. After that, he realized that it was because they fused his emotions. Soul skills without emotions were like soul skills without souls. The strength of a soul determined the potential and power of a soul skill. His 3 ultimate Haodong skills were only so strong because they perfectly unleashed all his emotions. They were so strong that he could defeat an opponent that was much stronger than him in terms of cultivation. Right now, he was much stronger than before, even compared to if he hadn't fused his emotions into his self-invented skill. When he unleashed this fist, his understanding of his yin-yang complement twin soul cores suddenly deepened. Ang! A sonorous phoenix roar sounded. A huge fire phoenix appeared in the air. It was the phoenix true body. Ma Xiaodao didn't know what fear was in her manic state. There was only one thing in her mind right now, which was to kill. When she revealed her phoenix true body, she charged towards Huo Yuhao. The sky distorted, and there seemed to be an extra layer of ripples high up in the sky. The earth also distorted. The temperature turned terrifyingly high, and caused the battlefield to burn. Countless scorching meteors formed in the sky before they shot towards Huo Yuhao. This was Ma Xiaotao's 6th soul skill, Phoenix Meteor Shower. Against this soul skill, Huo Yuhao was feeling very touched. A long time ago, Ma Xiaodao used this skill to help them win the championship during the Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Soul Dueling Tournament. Right now, he could still clearly remember how strong Ma Xiaodao was back then, how awe-inspiring she was. When he saw this soul skill again, he was very touched, even though the meteor shower was coming towards him. Snowflakes drifted once again. Ice turned into spikes and bloomed like icy flowers in the sky. Star Anise Omnithrust. Every spike accurately hit a meteor. When ice and fire clashed, ice melted, and fire became weaker. Dazzling lights also turned into dazzling fireworks in the sky. Perhaps this fight wasn't the most dangerous compared to the previous 2 fights, but it was certainly the most eye-catching. The Star Anise Omnithrust managed to resist the Phoenix Meteor Shower. However, the Phoenix true body was still charging towards Huo Yuhao with the Phoenix Sky Pierce. Undoubtedly, the best way for Huo Yuhao to react right now was to use his Ice Jade Empress Scorpion true body. Even without the Ice Empress help, he was still confident of suppressing Ma Xiaodao using his ultimate Ice true body. However, he didn't do so. The reason was very simple. Ice and fire were 2 extremes. This was even more so between ultimate ice and ultimate fire. He was worried that he would hurt Ma Xiaodao using such extreme methods. If that happened, he would be regretful. Ever since his mother had died, Huo Yuhao had no close relatives. When he came to Shrek Academy, he seemed to have found his home. Ma Xiaodao also became like his biological elder sister. Even though they didn't spend a lot of time together, Huo Yuhao still considered her to be very important in his life. Moreover, Huo Yuhao blamed himself a lot for landing Ma Xiaodao in this state. He believed that she only ended up like this because he didn't leave with her immediately before. This was why he was willing to risk anything to save her. A layer of diamond ice crystals surfaced on the Icy War God's armor. It was the Ice Empress armor. At the same time, Huo Yuhao clasped his hands together in front of his chest. He unleashed his snowy dance of ultimate ice. His 8th soul ring shone. He unleashed his Ice Bear Blizzard. The snowy dance of ultimate ice and Ice Bear Blizzard were unleashed at the same time, with Huo Yuhao at the center of both attacks. Right now, he was like the eye of a blizzard. A whirlpool of ice and snow that resembled a tornado swept towards Ma Xiaodao. By doing this, he was even stronger than when he unleashed his true body. It was also much easier for him to maintain control. He wouldn't end the fight immediately, but approach the situation slowly. It was only by doing this that he could control his own attacking strength based on the changes to Ma Xiaotao's soul power. The only shortcoming of doing this was that his soul power would be drained much more than if he used his true body. Normally, soul masters would enter a weakened state after using their true body. Huo Yuhao didn't have such a concern. However, domain-type abilities could only be maintained by draining a lot of soul power, no matter what stage of cultivation a soul master was at. After Ma Xiaotao's Phoenix true body was entangled in the Ice Bear Blizzard, it was as she had been chained up. The terrifying blizzard was challenging her ultimate fire, and a great amount of fog rose into the air. No one could see what was happening. Zhong Liwu's expression was very gloomy. However, there seemed to be a shifty look in his eyes. What Huo Yuhao didn't know was that Zhong Liwu was only prepared for 5 out of the 10 fights. Among the 5 fights, Ma Xiaodao was actually involved in one of them. What was more effective against ultimate ice than ultimate fire? It was just that Ma Xiaodao was supposed to be 4th on Zhong Liwu's list. She was shifted forward by 1 now, but it didn't affect his plan too much. Of course Zhong Liwu was aware of Ma Xiaodao's background. She had been a top-performing student in Shrek Academy, and the immediate disciple of Yang Xiaozhe. Huo Yuhao was also from Shrek Academy. It was only natural that she shared a close relationship with him. This was why he wasn't worried about her safety when she was sent out to fight. Once Ma Xiaodao drained Huo Yuhao up to a certain point, it would be time for him to doom Huo Yuhao. In Zhong Liwu's mind, he wasn't the most concerned about the Ice Bear King, but Huo Yuhao himself. Ultimate Ice Martial Soul. If he could get a holy son with an ultimate Ice Martial Soul, and who was a title Doluor, the Holy Ghost Church's strength would only stand to increase even if he lost the Blue-Silver Holy Lady. In the future, he could have 2 ultimate Doluor by his side. They were even ultimate Doluor with ultimate martial souls. Who else in this world could fight him then? Even those soul engineers would be helpless against him. An ultimate fire and ultimate ice Doluor was an extremely strong combination. If he could get this holy son, he wouldn't mind sacrificing more. This was because his appearance would only serve to offer the Holy Ghost Church unlimited potential. Zhong Liwu's goal wasn't just to become an imperial advisor of an empire. He wanted to become a ruler, the ruler of the entire continent. Whether it was the Doluor continent or Sun Moon continent, his goal was to rule. The Fire Phoenix was struggling in the sky. However, the Ice Bear Blizzard and Snowy Dance of Ultimate Ice were only getting stronger and stronger. The heat in the air had already disappeared. What replaced it was a refreshing chill. The air temperature changed drastically from high to low. This dramatic change left everyone in awe. Phoenix flames were released continuously. However, their temperature was quickly brought down when a snowflake landed on them. Suddenly, the Fire Phoenix stopped in the air. She opened her wings to their limit, and her body started revolving in the air. A dazzling halo was formed by her wings, and sonorous phoenix calls continued to echo. Dark red streaks of light started to expand, isolating the blizzard. The Fire Phoenix also picked up speed. In just an instant, she came in front of Huo Yuhao. Huo Yuhao only had time to lift his hand. He lifted his right hand in an attempt to stop the Fire Phoenix. It was Ma Xiaotao's 8th soul skill, 9 Heavens Phoenix Dance. Scorching phoenix flames were already in front of Huo Yuhao. 2 balls of blinding light shone behind Huo Yuhao's back. A sun and a moon appeared. The sun was gold, while the moon was blue. The sun and the moon intersected weirdly, causing Huo Yuhao to enter a special state. The phoenix flames struck his body, but they started to revolve tremendously. After this, they were flung away. The snowy dance of ultimate ice also experienced weird changes. Snowflakes started to conjoin in the air, forming lines of snow. After this, they tangled up and formed chains that started to entangle the Fire Phoenix from all directions. This was the improved version of the snowy dance of ultimate ice, ice-snow chain. Every chain was a consolidation and fusion of ultimate ice. When they landed on the Fire Phoenix, they caused her to shake tremendously. The temperature of the phoenix flames fell drastically. No matter how much Ma Xiaodao tried to muster her soul power, her flames couldn't get past Huo Yuhao's palm. There was an unprecedentedly strong force in his palm. All the energy that rushed to his palm would instantly be flung away. They couldn't breach it. The shining sun and moon behind Huo Yuhao's back became stronger and stronger. Even the sun in the sky seemed to lose some of its glow in the face of Huo Yuhao's sun and moon. What kind of power is this? Everyone was astonished, but none of them knew anything about it. Even Zhong Liwu was astounded. However, he knew more than the rest. This was because he could still recall that he had seen a similar sun-moon projection behind Di Tian before. It was just that Di Tian's was much stronger. However, their auras were very similar. What kind of strength has he understood to make him so strong now? Just as Zhong Li was astounded, the look of delight in his eyes intensified. The stronger Huo Yuhao was, the stronger the future Holy Son of the Holy Ghost Church would be if his plan succeeded. Yes, what a brilliant Holy Son. As the chains entangled her further and further, the fire phoenix struggled less and less. Ma Xiaotao's soul power fell significantly, as she was restrained by the chains. Huo Yuhao heaved a faint sigh of relief. He had used the power of his twin soul cores, which enabled him to trap Ma Xiaodao without hurting her. It was important to know that this wasn't easy. It was actually very difficult. However, he had succeeded. Even though he was drained, it was worth it. Just as he heaved a sigh of relief, the fire phoenix suddenly lifted her head. There was a manic streak of light that seemed to come from her eyes. What? This isn't good. Huo Yuhao was shocked. Just as he was about to react, it seemed like it was already too late. A terrifying ball of golden red light was suddenly unleashed from Ma Xiaotao's true body. The chains were instantly crushed. Heat dominated again, and the frightening explosive flames instantly devoured Huo Yuhao. Yes, this was Ma Xiaotao's ninth soul skill. Phoenix Nirvana. A phoenix and the fire of baptism led to Nirvana and rebirth. In a state of Nirvana, a phoenix was at its strongest and its weakest state. At the beginning of Nirvana, a phoenix was at its strongest. At the end of Nirvana, it was at its weakest. However, they both brought new life to the phoenix. This phoenix Nirvana was Ma Xiaotao's strongest and ninth soul skill. If the enemy didn't die, she would most certainly die after unleashing her phoenix Nirvana, since she would be in a weakened state for a month. However, this attack was at the standard of an ultimate Doluo. If she could become a transcendent Doluo in the future, even an ultimate Doluo would need to fear such an attack from her. This was one of Zhong Li's trump cards. He wasn't afraid that Huo Yuhao would kill Ma Xiaodao. He was even less worried that Ma Xiaodao wouldn't be able to unleash her phoenix Nirvana. She didn't even need to accumulate for this soul skill. She could just unleash it with a thought. The price to pay was to become weak for a month. This was a testament to how much power she could unleash with this attack. Huo Yuhao didn't know that. This was why he was engulfed by her phoenix Nirvana. The entire sky turned golden red. It was as if countless golden red flowing clouds were shaking the sky. Within a 50-kilometer radius from Shrek City to the Sun Moon Empire's base, a heat wave seemed to sweep over everything. The heat caused everyone to feel extremely fearful and frustrated. Tang Wutong stood where she was and watched everything in a daze. She didn't move. There was only a very unsettled look in her eyes. Zhong Li smiled. He was delighted. Was Huo Yuhao dead? Of course he wouldn't die. Zhong Li was very confident in Huo Yuhao. He was a transcendent Doluo who possessed ultimate ice. He even had many powerful soul tools on his body as well as that divine blade. How could he possibly die so easily? However, he would surely be skinned even if he didn't die. This was enough. The scorching golden red flames lasted for a good minute before they slowly disappeared. The first figure that appeared was drifting in mid-air. Strange golden red runes spun around her body. She was calmly lying in the air. Her hair was flowing, and her eyes were shut. It was as if everything in the outside world had nothing to do with her. This video will end here.